Hello everyone, I'm Wendall Jones and welcome to this edition of our program. And on our program today we are going to pay tribute to a wonderful man, a cultural icon in our country. Over the last many years we've had the good fortune of speaking with John Chippy Chipman, who many Bahamians know as a great junkanoo. He has graced the stages of our country and represented the Bahamas internationally. He passed away recently, and just recently he was on this program with Bianca Nygard and myself, and we had a wonderful conversation. He serenaded us. He was beating the drum and beating several tunes on the drum for us. And so we have assembled some members of his family, his great family, here today to speak to the life and times of John Chippy Chipman. We are pleased to have Bianca here as always. Good to see you.
Yes, thank you.
And we have Donna, Mitzi, and Fontella. Good to see you all here today.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
And of course, we extend our condolences on the passing of a great man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We know that you've been bombarded with tributes and the letters of sympathy and all of that been coming in, and I understand people from various junkanoo groups are preparing to celebrate the life and times of your father on Saturday. And I'm going to ask you each, in your own way, to talk about your fondest memory of John Chippy Chipman. Let's begin with Donna.
Okay, well, my fondest memory was recently when we was preparing to go on the cruise. He told me, he said, well, Donna, when we get to London, you have to knight me. So I'm here looking around thinking I have to get a little makeshift crown and a sword and stuff. So unfortunately, I didn't find any. So now we get to London. I said, well, Daddy, I booked a tour for you to go to Buckingham Palace. Oh, I don't have to go to Buckingham Palace, he said. He said, I'm already knighted. I just had to land in London. So that was my, always be my cherished memory of him, and I will tell my great-great-grandchildren.
Yes. Mitzi?
You know, Daddy was a special man, and my thing is, you know, Daddy, even with the flag, I remember one time a flag was in the street, and Daddy actually stopped his car and picked that up for the pride that he has for this country. Daddy was just something special, you know, and what I always remember when I said, Daddy, do you know your children love you? He said, I don't need my children to love me. The whole country loves me. I said, okay, you know, and that's the type of father we had. He was a father really of this nation, you know, so we had to share him. And it was a pleasure sharing him because he was so willing and so giving, you know. It's hard to come by that love right now. So it's a pleasure for us to even continue his legacy. And we will do that because he and my mother was a very special, two very special persons in this country, you know.
Absolutely. Fontella?
Well, for me, I have many, as we all have many special moments, but I think the fondest memory somehow really is now. When I see people and they stop me and give me condolences and then they share their Chippy story, you know, you reflect on the goodness and the grace of this man who has impacted so many people and who has impacted their lives in a positive way. You have to recognize that this man was something special, like Mitzi say, and also my grandmother, because Becky Chipman, because they will start off with Chippy, and then they will bang back and say, but Becky. And we have to remember that he was who he was because of my grandmother, you know. Like he said, I think he said my grandmother got too heavy to lift when they were dancing. So he know the people were coming to watch Becky. He had to figure something out to do. So he started beating the drum. So, you know, so for me, the greatness of it all is just the love that people show for him, because they say he showed it to them.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree. I think that Chippy really had a wonderful way of making everybody feel so special.
Yeah.
And I know I felt very special when talking with him. And I was also noticing that he mostly I never spoke with him without him mentioning Becky. He always spoke so highly of Becky and Miss Becky, and that was part of what was a little bit easier to let him go, was knowing that they would be reunited. You know, and I think that it was very wonderful, the surrounding the family that he has around him, because I was there actually at the hospital also, but I thought that it was so beautiful that the whole hospital was filled up with all the family members, and they were just surrounding him, and there was all that love, and everybody, Donna does Reiki energy, and I felt that, and another grandchild singing in his ear, and everybody has their hands on him, and you know, just if you're gonna, everybody has to pass away, and if you're gonna pass away, then it might as well be like that, with all that love. And I was just picturing, when I was standing back and kind of watching this happen, I was just picturing about how beautiful that was, and then how it must have been when he crossed over, and there's a whole other team of people that love him saying, welcome now, you know, and Becky would have been at the forefront, you know, of that. So he's a very, very special person.
Yes. You know, when he was here the last time, he didn't seem in good health.
Yeah.
He was beating the drum, and he brought, I believe, one or two of his grandchildren. And I was shocked to hear that he passed.
Yeah, well, what you have to realize is that Daddy was 90, and he never complained a day in his life, even though he was in pain. And more than over 6 years ago, we discovered he had stage 4 prostate cancer.
Is that right?
Yeah, so he suffered in silence.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jones' daddy was so strong. Daddy had appendix burst in him, and for 3 days, and Daddy survived that, and he came out very strong. And
they said they didn't know how he survived that.
Yeah.
You know.
So,
but in his
this
sickness,
was always in the past, like 3-4 years.
Yes.
Yeah, 6 years. But in his sickness, we kept praying. We kept praying for him to make the family reunion. And then he passed that. And we kept praying for him to make it to A Reason to Rush when we started that. Then he made it. Then we prayed for him to make his 90th birthday. Then he made that. And we just kept going to God for another year. And he was so, he kept telling himself that he was going to do it. And every year he just kept out breaking the rules, I guess, and just keep going and going. And even now, it's hard to believe that he's not here.
Yeah.
And he's been around so long that you feel like he's supposed to be here.
Yeah.
But we give God thanks for the many years that he has given us with our grandfather.
He was a man of tremendous resilience, eh?
Yes, he is. Yes, he was.
To have the strength, despite being ill, to
Yes.
be beating the drum like that and going to various events, eh?
Yes, and not only that, his prayer has always been to live to be 90 years old.
Yeah.
So when he conquered that 90 year, I said, every year after 90, I'm with him, I'm going to make it special. And he did that. And then for 46 years, he was the drummer that started the Junkanoo for independence. So from 1973, can you imagine next year he wouldn't be there?
That's right.
Wow.
You know, I saw a change in Daddy, say 6 months ago, because we noticed Daddy stopped eating. And sometimes too, God is so awesome that because he went to Las Vegas with some friends, Pat Bethel, and he told Pat, said, I just want to reach 90, because I don't want to be a burden on my children, you know. And God is so awesome. Sometimes we have to be careful what we ask God for, because he listens all the time. And he responds to your requests even when you have forgotten. He hasn't. You know, so Daddy, I think Daddy knew what he was doing, because he just stopped eating like 6 months ago. And we almost forcing him to eat, you know, so I don't know.
think he was just preparing himself. He knew too that God was good to him. He knew that God was in his wisdom. He knew that since he was at this age, any day he could go to be with his maker, because he would lie down in bed and he would put the sign of the cross every time he lied down, and he will repeat this daily prayer. So I believe that my grandfather knew that God was good to him.
Yes.
He made it to 90, and every day on this earth was just another blessing,
Yeah.
you know?
And he was so close to all of his children and grandchildren, and I guess close to all of the neighbors.
The Bahamas.
They changed the name of Lifebury Street to John Chipman.
John Chipman.
Yeah,
I,
John Chipman
you know,
Street.
I thought of the idea because I said, you know something, and I went to Mr. Christie at the time, who was the Prime Minister, and requested that, because I thought of another 100 years from now, who would remember John Chipman? If you don't place his name in certain areas, it will be forgotten. You know, so I wouldn't be here in 100 years. We would not be here in 100 years, but who will? But at least you'll see John Chipman someplace.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you remember that.
You know, it seemed to be a special father who was not only a father, but a friend to all of his children. Because, you know, I saw the camaraderie between all of you over the many years. And you sometimes you wonder, when he was joking with you, he had a tremendous bond with his family, didn't he?
Yes, he did he had a great bond with us, but the only thing what we couldn't do was borrow his money. You know,
Right.
any one of his children could get anything from him, but we had to pay it back. Now, if Bianca go and ask him for something, she could have gotten it and did not have to pay it back.
I see.
So that's the only argument we'll have with him. That if we wanted money, we'll have to pay him back right away, or he's going to tell the world that he gave Donna, Mitzi, Fontella $1.
Yeah.
But he'll
Tell
never
everybody.
tell the world that he gave
Yeah, but
Bianca or any other woman money.
Okay.
You know?
That's what was special about Dad. I think he almost assumed that we were all right.
Yeah.
Daddy would help anyone else outside. Anyone could walk up and say, "You're my daddy." Sign the paper, and he'd say, "All right, then, I's your daddy." And he'll say, you know, "I'm the father to the fatherless." And so Daddy had a bond with everyone. He had that way, like Bianca said, of making everyone feel special. And he was, I believe, he was not a father to us, or say he was a father to the fatherless out there, because for us, man, listen, it was rough with Daddy. Daddy could be disgusting when he ready, you know? Oh yeah, he had a mischievous side to him, you know? And then on the opposite, he was that type of person, we around, like we always used to buck heads. So we'll have an argument, and honey, I could go, leave, and come back, and he's, "Hey, little Teller." And I'm like, "Little Teller," and you know, when we just, you know, we just fought. But he was that type of person, you know? He's just a blessing. He never held in anything. It was just love. What can he do to help? And we're favored because of that, you know? We're favored, our whole family is.
And you could tell his girls took care of him.
I'm sure.
You know?
Yeah, I'm sure.
We might not have been around Daddy every day, but if Daddy needs for anything, we would be there. Donald took charge over Daddy like 20 years ago, you know, and I had my time with Daddy, and when he cussed me out for one woman, I said, anyway, I gave up.
I tell you, he's special.
Yeah.
But on the cruise, he always, no matter how you're there, he always asks for my Aunt Donna. You know, he always want my Aunt Donna around, because she always was in pain, and you know, my
She's
Aunt
the
Donna
massage
always had
therapist.
a way to soothe him and
Yeah.
keep him calm, and all that energy. She really took care of him, you know. Everybody.
And I give her a little tip. You say, "Here, take this girl, because she's doing my part too."
I mean, what she did, everyone had their part. Everybody,
Yeah.
Dad know that he was loved by his whole family.
Yeah.
Just as you wear that shirt, Chipman Strong, for me, from being on an outside, like not really in the Chipman family, I always saw you guys as like this solid family. There's so many of you, and you would be everywhere at the same time. Like in the airplane, you take up the whole airplane. In the cruise, there's tons of them on the cruise together, you know. And then the concerts, you don't even need to hire an outside person to do a concert because they do it all within the family. They're all so talented, and I always admired that. You know, and the Christmas parties and stuff like that. I always admired that where there was Chippy, there was like, you know, the Chipmans are coming. It's like, you better be ready, because how many are there? It fills up the whole party, really. And individually, everybody stands out as a wonderful, cultural, inspirational, healing type of a person. You know, how many Miss Bahamases are in this group, and how many, you know.
Well, I'm just Miss Smirnoff. This was Miss Atlantis.
Okay.
And Miss Bahamas. We have the small titles. You know.
Donnell was Miss Bahamas as well.
Donna was Miss Discovery.
Discovery Day.
Sonia was Miss Bahamas.
Okay.
You know, what happened to Bianca, it might seem large, you know, but we fill a table of 10, but the laughter that comes out of that table, anywhere, everybody look around at us like, what are they laughing at all the time? You know, it's a joy to be amongst my family. You know, we talk about each other, we laugh at each other, and we'll talk about Donna when she's not there.
Well, whoever's not there at the function, we talk about that person. And then when that person reads, we just lean over and say, shh,
she coming.
Quiet. But that's a joke that we have with our family. But it all extends from my grandfather and my grandmother. It really extends from him. Daddy was a natural, what I say is a natural clown, a natural comedian. Daddy will say something and he's so serious and everybody is laid out on the ground. So when we get together as a family, I don't care what our differences are, the love and the connection, and it's all there. And it just comes alive when we get together. We always say we don't need outsiders, we got each other. And it's true. I keep repeating this, the goodness that God has blessed this family with in terms of who we are as a people, because we're loving, kind people, but our talents, our gifts that he has given to us, I wish we could bottle it and sell it to the world.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Chippy taught you all how to talk. Right? So let's take a break here on our program. We are on our special program paying tribute to the life and times of John Chippy Chipman. We'll come right back.